So the economic sector, in an acute state of disability. That's what we have in the economic sector, where you have a country that makes wealth, but the wealth does not trickle down. What happens is it stays at the top. So a few men just grab the wealth and it doesn't come down. We don't even have social welfare programs for our elders. That's why you find some of our parents in their 60s and their 70s having to even work. It's like, unlike in the West where we'll be like, oh, by 65 I'm done, man. Oh, I can't wait to finish this job. It's not like that in Nigeria. You see some of our uncles, like 60 years old, 80 years old, they're still working because there's no system in place. The economic system is just messed up. So given this fact, you know, it almost compels one to want to see reasons with those people who are calling for a divided or separated Nigeria. Because the system is almost collapsed. I don't want to use the word collapse. The system is almost collapsed in Nigeria. But let's come to the United States. And let's talk about the educational sector in the United States. Is it any better? It's not. The issues are not dissimilar. The scope of the issues may be, but the issues are not dissimilar. That's why every time you turn on CNN or Fox News, you always see sessions being held, people, even from the president, emphasizing the need for students to stay and remain in school. Every time they talk about, how the dropout rates, keep increasing, in the educational system in America, as well as Canada. It's not so different. Let's talk about the healthcare sector again. There are millions of Americans that are living without health insurance as we speak. Millions. That's a lot of number. This is not hundreds of thousands. Millions of Americans living without health insurance. This healthcare debate almost cost President Barack Obama his job and even his credibility. I've been following the case. The same thing in Canada. Talk about the economy. Every time again you turn on CNN and you read the dailies, it's jobs, 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 jobs. America lost about 125 or 127,000 jobs in the month of June. 125,000. That's a large number. And it keeps increasing. It keeps increasing. People losing their jobs in the United States. Let's take a trip to UK. In the recently held election in the United Kingdom, all the political candidates were talking about the same issues. Healthcare, education, economy. So the issues are not dissimilar from what we face in Nigeria. The scope might be, but the issues are not. But see, here's where these people are different. In terms of how we see, they're better than us. They're not better than us. I mean, I'm not trying to undermine or disregard them. But the reason that makes them somewhat different from us is what I call their attitudinal approach towards fixing their problems. Their attitudinal approach towards fixing their problems. One of which is recognizing the differences, recognizing their imperfections, but putting all this aside. Their personal grudges that they may hold towards another candidate or another person, their religious beliefs. They put all this aside and come together to try and fix the problems that they face. This is what we don't have in Nigeria. The only areas where you find these people, sort of like bickering, is usually in the political spectrum, where you have them saying, oh, I have the best manifesto to fix this job. And then you see the Liberal Party comes or the Democratic Party comes and say, no, we have the best manifesto. Look at our agendas. Isn't it sumptuous? Isn't it like, come on, you want to eat it. That's how nice. So this is what we see in the West that we don't have in Nigeria. We see these political leaders struggling for who can get the job done the best. Unlike Nigeria. Nigeria, what you find is somebody that doesn't even know how to connect a copper wire, going to the federal government and looking for contracts. This will cost 5 billion naira to fix the roads and fix the lights. I can do the job. And, you know how they do it, the mago way, you know, they try to cut corners, you know, and then they get these contracts, and what happens is they take all this money and stash in foreign accounts. The job's not done. What happened with the $16 billion that was allocated to put an everlasting stop, a stop to the everlasting power supply for problems that we face in Nigeria? Who knows? I don't know. It probably went with the winds. $16 billion. No one to hold accountable. No one to blame. No panel even set up. They set up a ghost panel. Oh, let's put a panel, we're gonna get this corporate. Yeah, right. It's like, what, 4 years later? The situation has gotten worse than it was. But again, these issues are not dissimilar to those in the West. So, coming to this conclusion, I asked myself, so what is this problem then? Because, these people are not calling for a divided America or divided London or UK or divided France. They're not. They recognize the imperfections. They recognize these issues. Their issues are almost similar to the issues that we have. And then I asked myself, so why then are Nigerians calling for a divided Nigeria? Why? What's the problem? Because I couldn't really come up with anything substantive. I couldn't come up with anything meaningful in terms of a conclusion or a finding. So given this understanding, I decided to take a little step further. I'm like, you know what, I got to find what the problem really is. And then, I set out again, well equipped. I'm like, let me search. I didn't even have to walk too far to realize what the actual problem is. And that is tribalism. I hope you guys don't mind me writing it down somewhere. So that every day when we wake up, we can understand what the problem in Nigeria is. Tribalism. This is one of the central banes of Nigeria's progress and Nigeria's prosperity. Tribalism. Here you find a system where you hate the other person just because, for the mere reason that they come from, maybe they happen to be Yorubas, or they happen to be Hausa, or they happen to be Igbo. You just hate them. Without any explanation, without any cause, you just hate them. Tribalism. You see it every day in the streets of Nigeria, tribalism. Sometimes leading to ethnic wars, ethnic cleansing, religious wars, every day in Nigeria. Someone walks to your place of employment with a resume. They have all the merits. They're the man for the job or the woman for the job. You know it. Just looking at their resume, you're like, wow, okay, this is a guy that can put an end to this everlasting power supply problems that we have. Thank God for you. What is your name? You say, my name is Jonathan. Say, good. Not good luck, Jonathan, but Jonathan. Say, good. Thank God you're here. Because now you're taking a look at their resume. Everything is perfect. You're like, thank God. This is the gentleman that might put an end to the economic problems that we face in Nigeria, or the, electric power generation problems that we face in Nigeria. Oh, wait a minute. Where do your parents come from? Say, is this a typo error? I see that you say here you are Igbo. Am I right? Say, yes, I'm Igbo. Oh, okay. Okay, I will give you a call. What is that your GSM number? Say, okay. It's they're not punching any numbers. Say, okay, 080, okay. All right. We'll see. We'll call you, please answer your phone when we call. They say, all right, sir. As soon as they walk out the door, you go like this. Over my dead body. Me give that Igbo man the job. Am I crazy? I will die first. I will die first before I give that Igbo man the job. Or before I give that Hausa man the job. Or before I give that Yoruba man the job. I will die first. No way. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm going to give this job to that my friend that gave me the contract, was it 2 or 3 years ago? I will give the job to that his cousin that was looking for a job. Not this useless Igbo man or useless Hausa man. Or what? That's what happens. Over my dead body. You take the job away from someone who you know has all the credentials, all the prerequisites to put an end to the problems that we face, but because of the ethnic group that they happen to come from, you refuse them the job. And you say, over your dead body, you will never give them that job. and then you give the job to someone who's incompetent to run, for example, the power sector in Nigeria. This is saddening. This is something I think we must change in Nigeria. And the onus is in our generation. If it passes our generation, I can guarantee you, we could just kiss Nigeria goodbye. If we don't start now, mark my words, if we don't start now, in the next 10 to 15 years, don't even go, if you have a Nigerian passport, just throw it away. On our generation, not our kids, on us, to fix the problem in Nigeria. We have to. That person you're waiting for to come fix the problem, he's looking right back at you to fix the problems. Onus is on us. This facility that we enjoy today, this good life that we live in the West, was made possible by young men and women like you and I. They're not perfect people. They go to clubs, they drink beers, man. I have some friends in high places. You don't want to see how messed up they get when they drink. It just goes to show that they're human beings. They're not aliens. They're not God. We give them this sort of like godlike attributes, like, wow, man, they can do it, we can't do it. No, we can't.